Hey everyone, gather round because you are not going to believe this story. It's one of those tales that seems straight out of a movie, but I swear this was my life for the past few months. So my ex-wife and I, asterisk ex-wife asterisk dot dot. We were together for what I thought was a pretty solid 8 years. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I genuinely believed we were in it for the long haul. We had built a life together, shared dreams, the whole 9 yards. Looking back, maybe I was just seeing what I wanted to see. About a year ago, things started to feel off. She became distant, always on her phone, smiling at texts, but never sharing what was so funny. Late nights at work became more frequent. When I'd ask about it, she'd get defensive, accusing me of being insecure or not trusting her. It was classic gaslighting, but when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see clearly. I tried to be more supportive, thinking maybe she was just stressed. I'd make her favorite dinners, plan weekend getaways, anything to try and reconnect. But it was like trying to hug a ghost. She just wasn't there anymore. The red flags were practically a parade, but I kept making excuses for her. There was the time she went on a girls' trip, and I later found out from a mutual friend that only one of her friends actually went, and the rest of the group was guys I'd never heard of. When I confronted her, she blew up, saying I was trying to control her and that I didn't respect her friendships. It was a huge fight, and I ended up apologizing just to keep the peace. I felt like I was going crazy, constantly questioning my own judgment. The big reveal, the moment the house of cards came tumbling down, was almost comical in its cliché. I came home early from a work trip wanting to surprise her, and surprise I did. Her car was in the driveway, but so was another one I didn't recognize. I walked in, and there they were, in our living room. It was her coworker, the one she always said was just a friend. The silence that followed was the loudest thing I've ever heard. There was no big dramatic scene, no shouting. I just turned around, walked out, got back in my car, and drove. I didn't even know where I was going, I just needed to be anywhere else. I checked into a hotel and turned off my phone. The next day, I turned it back on to a flood of texts. Not apologies, but accusations. She wrote that I had invaded her privacy and that since I clearly couldn't trust her, the marriage was over. She was dumping me. Can you believe the audacity? She was the one who was unfaithful, but she twisted it to make it my fault. She said she was packing her things and leaving. A part of me was devastated, but another larger part of me just felt numb. And then a strange sense of relief washed over me. The fight was over. The suspicion, the anxiety, the constant feeling that something was wrong, it was all confirmed. I didn't have to wonder anymore. Now this is where the story takes a turn you won't see coming. While my ex was busy painting me as the villain to our mutual friends, her own family started reaching out to me. First, it was her mom calling to see if I was okay. She said, "We're so sorry, honey." We had our suspicions for a while. Then her dad called, telling me I was always a son to him and that wasn't going to change. They knew. They had seen her behavior, the late nights, the secrecy. They had tried talking to her, but she just shut them out. They saw how she treated me and they weren't on her side. It was a complete shock. I was bracing for a battle, for losing the family I had grown to love over the past 8 years. Instead, they rallied around me. Her brother called and we went out for a beer and he just let me vent for hours. He told me stories I'd never heard, confirming that this wasn't new behavior for her. It was validating in a way I can't even describe. It proved I wasn't the crazy, jealous husband she was making me out to be. My own family was supportive, of course, but having her family in my corner felt like a monumental victory for my sanity. A couple of weeks later, her mom called again. She said, "We're having our usual Sunday dinner and we'd be heartbroken if you didn't come." "Your family." I was hesitant. "Wouldn't that be incredibly awkward?" But she insisted. So I went. It was surreal. I walked in and everyone greeted me with hugs. Her dad grilled steaks. Her mom made my favorite dessert. My ex-wife, obviously, wasn't there. They just carried on as if I was the one who belonged there, and she was the one who was gone. We talked, we laughed, and for the first time in months, I felt genuinely happy. And then there's her sister Sarah. Sarah and I had always been good friends. We have the same sense of humor and a shared love for bad sci-fi movies. She was furious with her sister. During that family dinner, she sat next to me and just kept shaking her head, saying, "I can't believe her." After dinner, we were cleaning up in the kitchen, and she looked at me and said, "You know, you deserve so much better. We all think so. That one sentence meant the world to me. It wasn't pity, it was respect. Over the next few weeks, Sarah and I started talking more. It started with just checking in, but soon we were talking every day. We'd send each other funny memes, talk about our day, and plan movie nights. It was easy. There was no drama, no second guessing. It was just fun. We went from being in-laws to just being friends, and then slowly, it started to feel like something more. We were both cautious. We talked about it, acknowledging the weirdness of the situation, but we couldn't deny the connection. My ex found out, of course. She sent me a novel-length text message about how I had betrayed her by getting close to her sister. The irony was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Her entire family just rolled their eyes. Her mom literally told her, "Well, what did you expect? You threw away a good man. You don't get to decide his future. Karma, right?" So yeah, I got dumped by my cheating wife, and her own family chose me. And now her sister and I are seeing where things go. It's the most unexpected plot twist of my life, but I'm not complaining. Sometimes when one door closes, a whole new, much better door opens right down the hall, in the form of your ex's much cooler, kinder, and funnier sister. What a wild ride, right? It just goes to show that life can surprise you in the best ways, even when things seem to be at their worst. Thanks for listening to my crazy story. If you've been through something similar or just enjoyed the tale, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next one.